Hey y'all, I ain't hear y'all come over. Welcome to Cynthia's Garden. I'm Cynthia.
Friends, I made something called weed compost tea. I did that just to experiment and just to try something that was a free, truly natural alternative to the other stuff that you can buy at the store. And let's just say that was an experience in itself. Hey, to each his own. To each his own.
Yeah, with fertilizer, you don't have to buy fertilizer from the store. You can make your own fertilizer, or you don't have to use fertilizer at all. So I like to experiment, and I'm not going to show you guys because it was gross. I made wheat compost tea. That was the stinkiest thing in the world. I got rid of it. I put it on the garden bed. Now my garden reeks. My plants should love it. But the smell, I'm so glad I ain't got smell-o-vision. It was stank. They do warn you that it's kind of potent. Oh, it was potent. I shall not be doing that again. But you can do it, and a lot of gardeners do it. So it is an option. I mean, I am curious to see what happens in the bed I poured it in because I didn't have the patience to put it in something and pour it in all the other or dilute it and put it in all the other beds. I poured it in that big bed that I'm working on. We'll see. That big bed should be producing something fierce when I get it ready. I ain't gonna lie, it was stank. So just be mindful if you go that route. Put that thing in like the back of the yard. I had it up there by the door. And I kept walking out the door thinking, why is it so stink back here? I thought my dogs. It was that compost tea.
So when you're fertilizing your plants, you're really fertilizing the soil, not really the actual plant. The plant is going to take up the nutrients from the soil. So let's look at some of the fertilizers that I've brought. I brought these fertilizers off season when they were on sale. So I don't have the exact prices, but you can buy them online, you can buy them in the big box store. So let's talk about some organic options. There's blood meal and there's bone meal. When they're best added when you're first putting your plants out. So when you put your transplants out, it's best to put it in the planting hole. Then you put it around the drip line. So like around when you're planting out your brassicas, those are heavy feeders. So they want a lot of nitrogen. So that's where blood meal comes into the picture. And if you have animals, especially dogs, you might want to be mindful because they are attracted to it. Mine actually jumped into the garden bed to go after it. I was like, do you have a blood meal deficiency? But blood meal is just nitrogen. So this right here, total nitrogen is 12%. Straight up nitrogen, nothing else. This is bone meal. So this has an NPK of 680. 6% nitrogen, 8% phosphorus, no potassium. So that is bone meal. Now, there are other types of fertilizers. When you're first starting out, even if before you get into all that other stuff, a good alternative to even start with and not even worry about any of the other fertilizers until later, biotone. Now, they're best brought online. I've seen them in stores like Ace. I think I brought one of them at Ace Hardware. You can see them, find them at the big box stores too, depending on your area. But biotone, and this is a balanced, slow release fertilizer that you can use at the time of planting. For NPK of 433, 4% nitrogen, 3% phosphorus, and 3% potassium. When you're planting out your strawberries, these are just ways to make things easier for yourself, okay? So if you can afford fertilizer, these are just these type titles and marketing. It makes it easier for the beginner gardener, okay? This is berry tone, so you can use this when you're planting your berries. Fish fertilizer, 511. You'll hear a lot of people say they're fertilizing with 511. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And then the air conditioner cuts on. Now, I'm not sitting here promoting any type of brand that you use. There are a lot of people that have their preferences on which brand that you should use and which brand that you should not use. You use what's best for you, your garden, your rules, your pocketbook, your rules. That's my philosophy. But as you do trial and error, you'll see what works best for you. If you want to go the synthetic route, or you want to go the organic route, or you want to go to the free route and do the compost, the weed compost tea, or they use comfrey tea. There's certain different plants that a lot of people will use to make their own tea from the natural plants that are that you can get out of your garden or in your yard. And there's a lot of videos out there, so there's no need for me to go in depth in that. Now, I tell you, I shop on sale. I brought this, of course, off season, on sale. Don't ask me the price, but I promise you it was a good price. So this is and you see it's not open. I haven't opened it yet because I'm still using my other stuff. But I just wanted to give you an example. So Miracle Grow, this is a 9-4-12. So that means this is very high in nitrogen and very high in potassium. Now let's talk about watermelon, because I showed you the watermelon plant. And I can show you some of the watermelons that I've grown over the years. Would use like a 10-5-5. That's if you have it, okay? If you have it. But if you just want to break it down and get more philosophical, but when you start breaking it down, and I don't want to make gardening seem like it's complicated, but I mean, if you want to really get into it, growing up from a seedling, they get their 2 true leaves, and then they start to take off in growth, and they go from that vegetative to that fruiting stage. And that's usually when people try to, and this is how the big farmers do, they have to switch up their fertilizing regimen from that vegetative stage to that fruiting stage, because they need different types of nutrients at that time. Blood meal is high in nitrogen. Remember I showed you, so those leafy greens like spinach, kale, your Swiss chard, mustard green, collard greens, they're really going to want that blood meal. Now, when it comes to actually using these fertilizers, always follow the directions. Once you get comfortable and you want to go rogue, you can go rogue. But you got to be careful to make sure you don't burn your plants. And that's one thing about natural fertilizer, those slow release ones like bone meal, blood meal, the biotone, like those type natural organic, or those type organic fertilizers, you don't have to worry about burning your plants when you put those in. Now, when you use something like a synthetic fertilizer, you got to be careful, because you could possibly burn your plants. So when do you need to use the fertilizer? Remember, it's best to always use the fertilizer when you first plant it and when you're starting to see signs of distress, so meaning yellowing leaves. That's usually sometimes meaning that there's a sign of it's needing something to eat, it's hungry, it wants some fertilizer, it's saying, please feed me, plant parent, please feed me. And that could be what it's saying. But as you start to grow, you'll pick up on what's needed when, and you'll know, okay, I put this in at the time of planting, and it doesn't need some fertilizer. Can I just give it some 511? Will that be fine? Will that work? Let's see what that does. It's like you're being a doctor. But you're being a parent. You're assessing the situation and you're assessing their needs. So it's being a plant parent. And talking about potassium, a lot of people make banana water. Now, I haven't personally tried it because I have a composter, so I just usually throw everything in there, and I have a lot of fertilizer, so there's really no need to. But you can, and if you have a lot of bananas around, I mean, why not? You're eating bananas, why not? When you become that gardener and you're starting finding ways to reuse things and not be so wasteful, that could be an area you might want to try. That might be something you might want to experiment with. I'll experiment with it. You know what? I can experiment with it sooner than later, because my kids eat bananas every day, so I got pills around here on the regular. My little one, I call him my little monkey. And he truly is a little monkey. He climbs up on everything. And another thing to think about, thinking about the soil quality. I mean, you can also do soil testing, and there's places you can send it on. You can look it up online. There's local places. There's soil kits that you can buy, and the more that you get into planting, especially as you get your garden beds together, it's good to do a soil test before springtime hits, so that you kind of know what your plants need, what has been depleted. I mean, I have done a soil test in the beginning, and actually I do have a soil test. I might pull it out for you guys. I haven't used it in a while, but I just kind of I eyeball things, and I just kind of think of, okay, especially if I haven't had any problems growing in that bed. But usually, especially if I've been growing, I'm coming out of the fall and winter, and I have a bunch of brassicas in there. I pretty much know nitrogen pretty much depleted that bed. So sometimes I would also follow up with making sure I have some beans planted as well, because beans, their roots are nitrogen fixers. So, you can find creative ways to fertilize your garden without even using actual fertilizer. So think about that as well.
I should write a list. It would make me a little bit more diligent. I am so proud to see the progress of my plants. So I planted up this planter week ago. So the plants I put in here are doing great. So these are bush crops. So these are cucumbers up here. So I'm gonna see how they do. This is a small container. I'm a chaotic gardener, y'all, I tell you. I will try anything. So I'm curious to see what will happen. Okay, that's another experiment. There's some water at the bottom at this reservoir. So what I did was I put some plants down there to soak up some of that water. So yeah, I'm proud of this little black planter. I'm going to pay attention to it. It has snapdragons that I took out that little deck planter. And like I said, these are the cucumbers. And I know there's a kale in there. I don't think it's going to last, but we'll try it. Fertilized it. I put a petunia in there to give it a little pop of color. And my snapdragons are coming back in here. I didn't plant the snapdragons. They came back on their own. They reseeded. These are some sweet potato slips that I need to find a home for. These are my pepper plants. And yeah, everything looks good. It doesn't look like I need to water anything today, which is great. Because we are not at that point where I should be watering. So I should have to water everything every day. Look at there. It's loving its life. I'm going to approach with caution because I did see the bees over here. And I do see one of them. And we're trying to respect each other's boundaries. Hello, sir. I'm here today. I'm just here for a little bit. All right? Cool. All right? I'm just here for a little bit. Thank you, sir. This oregano, yeah, it is already spread. This has been in the pot. Okay, I call them pots. I'm sorry. This has been in this container for a week now. And it's at least doubled in size. Eucalyptus is loving its life. This hyssop, I believe it is hyssop. That's what my sign says. But, sir, I told you I was here today. Just give me a few minutes. You about as impatient as my kids. Okay, you don't want to cooperate? I mean, the petunias are right there. Thank you. Go to the petunias. Okay. You don't want the petunias. Fine. Okay. I'll leave. These wildlife, they're so disrespectful. So disrespectful. Disrespectful tenants. I tell you. Y'all, I told y'all I'm late, so I don't want to put that on the ledge. I planted up, I reused this 3-pack.
that I got from Costco. It had pepper plants in there. Canna lily, and I brought a dahlia. So two of these have a dahlia in there. Two of these have a dahlia in there. One of them has a canna lily. So we'll see what happens there. And over here I have, this is why you should label stuff. It's a bulb in there. I think it's the canna lily. No, this is the canna lily. I'm sorry. This is the canna lily because this is the bigger pot. And this one are the dahlias. I expect at least two out of three of these to at least germinate. It's getting a little warm out here, so I don't know if I'm gonna be spending too much time out here. My allotted time may be cut short. It was cut short yesterday because I saw something I didn't want to see and I had to call for help. So yeah, that's what happens in gardening. These wildlife, they so disrespectful. They don't understand what you're trying to do. They don't understand. They don't care. They don't care. They ain't got to work. Well, they got to work, but shoot, so disrespectful. I still need to pull my bed over here that has the greens. Everything is bolting. Like, I don't know if I should let it stay and let it seed, or I think I need to prep it. It's best for me to prep it. And when you compost in place, you're just dropping the, the leaves and the debris where it is, or purposely putting it somewhere where it can decompose. It can compost in place, just as the word says. One thing about gardening, you will learn how to reuse things. But one of my neighbors was moving and was cleaning out their shed and pulled out a bunch of these tomato rings. I got like 6 of them. And I wanted some that year too. See, ask and ye shall receive. I was going to invest in some. I was like, score. So befriend your neighbors, people. Don't take much to say hi sometimes to people. I mean, hey, we all can be antisocial sometimes. And I understand if that's outside of your realm, but free stuff is free stuff. So I'm gonna put this in a container. Last year I used this in, let me show you. This white container. I grew cucumbers in there with this tomato cage. So I'm gonna put this tomato cage back on there. That's what I'm talking about. Actually, let me take this out. Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. Put some all-purpose fertilizer in there. And this is a container, so, and I'm not refreshing the whole container. Whoops, didn't put that much in there. So I'm just putting a little bit of perlite, a little peat moss, fertilizer in there. Put the cage back on here. I'm gonna put the cucumbers in there, and that's gonna be all she wrote. These bees don't understand boundaries. They think since they're in high demand, they can do what they want to do. We still have to be neighborly. We still have to be neighborly to each other. Alike. But we can respect each other and each other's purposes and roles. So you can have fun in your garden. And people think you crazy and they wonder who you're talking to. They don't know they think you're talking to yourself. But if you're like me, you're talking to the wildlife. And you're talking to your plants. Your plants needs that sense of camaraderie. Some of that fish fertilizer in there. That stinks too. It smells better than that weed tea though. That weed tea was foul. Just making sure you're doing all right. Welcome to your new home. You've paid your deposit. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Hopefully you don't. But if you have any complaints, don't come find me. I planted some watermelon. I grew watermelon here last year, so I'm gonna do it again this year. Give you a little mulch. I told you I had a visitor that I didn't want, so I'm kind of scared to go to my other garden right now. I'm gonna put my big girl pants on and I'm gonna go, just not right now, because that visitor just moved in on me and I know he ain't paid no rent, nor did he fill out an application, because I would have told him no. You know, this is that culantro that I brought from, this thing is thorny. It looks like a weed, but it's called a culantro, and it's a plant that is used in replace of cilantro. It's supposed to have the same taste profile, but it's heat tolerant. So, and it was only $2. So I said, why not? I shall try it. And something is growing in my green stop. And considering where it was, I don't think it's a weed. Look, I'm late, so I ain't got time to be throwing stuff away. So I'm gonna go throw this in a tray real quick. Come on. I told y'all I like surprises. Well, good surprises. So I popped it in there. We'll see what it is. Culantro. I plant up the culantro. Tease the bottom a little bit, because you know the roots. I definitely need to make a tag for that, so I remember what it is. Because these were 10 for 10. So I brought 10. I love when people judge me. Somebody judged me today and telling me what I should have had done by now. And I'm like, okay. I'm so glad you felt like you could pass judgment on me, because you're not going to make me feel bad. It's dirty, sorry. Because plants are dirt, so it's dirty. Mr. B. I'm getting ready to go and mind my business. I'm going back inside to mind my business. Because he must be having a bad day. Oh, did I need to order this? I ordered it in yesterday. The top looks dry, but it's still good in water. It's still heavy. You can pick up your containers and see how heavy it is, or you can put your finger in there. I don't want to stick my finger in there. I got too much wildlife. So I pick it up if I can. If not, I do the eyeball test. I eyeball it. And here are some of my starts. That's a basil I had in my hydroponics. I plucked it out because I needed to clean it out. This is my marigold. As I'm doing this, I need to go get the fan. Some lemon basil that I started. Some baby Roma tomatoes. These are a bunch of random stuff that I started and put on the heat map. You see the condensation. These are some more tomatoes I started. This is that okra and kajari melon that I upparted and tried to rescue. This is that surprise. These are a surprise.
We'll see what they come out to be. Look like they're happy too in their new home too. And these are the calendulas that I started in the strawberry container, and I had to separate. They look like they are as happy as they want to be. And those are some beans. And normally you should direct sow beans, but I have them in this little container where I can pop it out, so I won't really disrupt the roots that much. And these are some other starts that I saved that I had just thrown in random containers. So I thought I'd be a little bit organized.
Oh, my time is up anyway. Well, let me clean up my mess.
But thank you guys for stopping by my little corner of the world. And I'll catch you in the next one, my friends. Bye.